I'm Serge Madikian, the chef owner of Saravan Restaurant. We've been here 9 years, starting May 5th of this year, 2014. We'll be going into our 10th year of operation. I was really excited to be part of a panel at the farm and chef collaboration and the future of our farming conference that was in Columbia County. It was great to be a part of that and to be in a group where farmers, restaurateurs, chefs, and some of our locally elected officials were all there together to discuss what is going to be and what can we do about the future of our farming and how we can incorporate the abundance of the Hudson Valley and the Berkshires more and more into, not into restaurants, but into homes and schools, and let anyone who has any interest in eating better to participate and recognize all the issues that we have to deal with. And I felt really lucky as a chef to be part of this panel to discuss the issues that surround both us, the chefs and restaurateurs, and the farmers. I think what was exciting and educational and extremely informative for me as a person who's involved with farmers and farming, especially when the season is in full swing here, starting in late April to late November, was to really recognize that there are a lot of issues, but most importantly that every single one of us can contribute to this issue. Whether I'm a chef in a restaurant active with local farms, whether I'm a student who's interested in eating better, whether I'm a chef that would like to be involved with students, whether I'm a restaurateur that would like to bring more produce to the restaurant, introduce it to the chef, and most importantly, whether I'm a local or federal elected official that is learning about all the intricacies, because there are many factors that affect and as a consequence influence how not only the food is grown, but how the food is distributed and taken to the end, whether in my case it's the restaurant or the farmer's market or local supermarkets. So I don't think that there is a conclusion that was made, but I think there were a tremendous amount of consciousness was brought forward, and hence an elevated level of understanding that it does take everyone's involvement in order for us to continue the upward pattern, because it has been an upward pattern. I've been here 10 years, actually in the Hudson Valley area 14 years now, and in this 14 years the difference is day and night. The intimacy of the relationship between restaurants and chefs. It's a day and night, and I think the only way this is gonna go will be upward, and the availability of products will not only be ensured for the restaurants, but it will expand to a lot of the people that previously thought locally grown, well nurtured and well harvested produce is out of their reach. And I think from that angle it was a huge success. You know, the start of the season for me personally at Saravan is to work in the garden and set my garden up and clean up the havoc of winter, especially a winter such as the one that we had this year. But the most exciting part of seeing all the snow melt away and work and set up the garden for my own small garden that I work in and I harvest for the restaurant is my ability to go to farms and pick up produce from there. And Migliorelli Farm is one of them. Montgomery Place Orchard Farm is another one. Miley Farm down the road is another one. And in doing that, in including that in my everyday life, starting spring and following through summer and late fall, I have become a better chef, in my humble opinion, because I have become a lot more intimately involved with how the ingredients that I use are grown themselves. Therefore, I have a much more intimate relationship with them than I had any time before. So from that angle, working with the local farmers, that's my selfish disposition. I have a vested interest in becoming a better cook, so I want to be a better cook, and that does. But from a community perspective, it makes me have a great sense of pride to be a working member of the community in the Hudson Valley area. That pride will not in any shape and form be given to me, or I won't be able to attain it if I didn't have my relationship with the farmers, or if I didn't take the time to drive, go to the farm to pick up the produce and see what is going on with them. And just on the side note, the amount of knowledge that I have gained about our own little microsystems that we have here in Armenia, how that is different, for example, in Annandale, where my tomatoes may be blighted and I have no tomatoes. In Annandale, they have, near Bard College, Montgomery Place Orchard will have tremendously successful tomato season. For me to learn the climate differences and what I can do to my tomato plants in order to ensure a better season the following year, I would not have learned that if I didn't have my relationship with them. So I think overall, a sense of belonging as a chef, for me, is really important. To be a contributing member of the community, because it's a community, even though it's a vast area, we are a community. And above all, to be able to provide really delicious, because ultimately fresh is a lot closer to delicious than picked a month before, because they lose their flavor. So from that angle, I think it's a win-win situation, at least for me it's been. I became a chef at 37, and for me, success in my 20s and 30s was white-collar jobs. I worked in restaurants, the front of the house, to put myself through undergraduate and some graduate program in New York City. But I never considered going to culinary school to be a chef. But at 37, the opportunity presented itself to me, and I thought, hey, I have nothing to lose. I'll go to culinary school. If I enjoy it, great. If I don't enjoy it, I'll become a better cook, because I always cooked in my New York City apartment and had a lot of dinner parties there. But 2 weeks into culinary school, there was this moment where I was reaching for a plate, and I'll never forget that moment. I was reaching for the plate, and it just seemed as though life stopped. I was hyper aware of the sounds that were around me, the light, the excitement, the smells, and my position. And right then and there, I knew that there's no going back. Right then and there, I knew that I have to take this feeling and go with it. And that was in 1998. And I haven't looked back, and I feel really grateful that I had the opportunity to have my restaurant, to open a restaurant in 2005 here, and here we are in 2014, and soon going into our 10th year. It has allowed me to introduce my Armenian and my Iranian heritage to the Hudson Valley with the help of the abundance that the Hudson Valley offers to all of us who are interested in the culinary world. So I feel that I'm a pretty lucky person.
As I went walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. I roamed and I rambled and I followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond deserts, while all around me a voice was sounding.